Do you know? Characters in Chiikawa actually all have real-life prototypes. You definitely can't imagine what they look like in reality. First of all, there is Hachi. If you think his prototype is just a cat, then you are completely wrong. Although the name Hachi means a cat with bangs in Japanese, and he can also lick his paws, spit out hairballs, and even stick out his tongue when he's nervous. These seem to be the behaviors of a cat. But here comes the unexpected part. The author has classified Hachi as a mysterious creature similar to a cat. Why is that? Because the author wants Hachi to be able to eat chocolate and lemons. It's obvious that real cats don't eat these things. Secondly, there is our protagonist, Chiika. I bet you must have thought he was a little bear, but in fact, Chiika's prototype is a hamster. And interestingly, Chiika's fur will grow particularly long in winter, but he can't groom it by himself. Every time he tries to groom his fur, he makes a mess of it. But this makes Chiika look especially cute. And the reason why Chiika doesn't speak as fluently as Hachi and the others is also because the brain of a hamster simply can't support him to make complex expressions. As for Usagi, it's obvious that his real-life prototype is a lop-eared rabbit. Because of those iconic cries, Usagi accidentally became popular on TikTok. But let me tell you secretly, in fact, Usagi's cry is the same as that of a real-life lop-eared rabbit. After hearing this, don't you suddenly want to keep a lop-eared rabbit as a pet? But when you see Usagi's personality, I advise you to give up this idea. After all, if you keep it, you won't be able to sleep in anymore. Finally, there is Kurimanju. Don't you feel that his appearance looks very familiar when you see it? Let me give you a key piece of information. His personality is very similar to that of an animal in reality. Guess who his prototype is? Tell me the answer in the comment section. It's so astonishing. The characters in Chiikawa actually all have real-life prototypes in reality. You definitely can't guess what the cute characters look like in reality. First of all, let me reveal the puzzle left from the previous episode. The prototype of Kurimanju is actually a honey badger. It is recognized by Guinness as the most fearless animal in the world. And interestingly, the weight of male and female honey badgers generally differs by twice. This also means that Kurimanju is very likely to be a cute female. This makes me like it even more. Secondly, there is Hyakuju. I bet you must think it is a squirrel, but in fact, its prototype is a flying squirrel. The characteristics of Hyakuju are almost the same as those of a flying squirrel. It can not only glide in the sky, even its personality is equally lively. And what's even more interesting is that the feces of a flying squirrel are also an expensive medicinal herb. Does this mean that Hyakuju also has this ability? After hearing this, are you already eager to keep one? There is also Master Otter. Obviously, its prototype is an otter. However, different from reality, Master Otter has powerful combat power. He is the hero ranked first on the extermination list. More importantly, he is also very rich and likes to eat sweet foods. Don't you think this is completely inconsistent with the image of a powerful being? But it is precisely this sense of contrast that makes Master Otter seem even cuter. After seeing this, do you want to keep an otter again? But I advise you to give up this idea. Otters are endangered species. Buying, selling, and keeping them without permission will land you in jail. So it's better to just sincerely like baby otters. In addition, there is Shisa. Do you know what his real-life prototype is? Let me give you a hint. It is related to the traditional culture of a certain country. If you guess it, you are welcome to tell me in the comment section. Why do so many people dislike the cute Hyakuju? That's because the current Hyakuju is actually an imposter. The current Hyakuju actually has the soul of Dakyang inside his body. And when the monster version of Hyakuju first appeared, the chimera that was shouting, "Give it back to me," while chasing after Hyakuju was the real Hyakuju. The reason why Dakyang snatched Hyakuju's body is that Dakyang's original body was ugly in appearance, and almost no one was willing to be his friend. And due to the setting that monsters eat people, the armored man in the anime often issues some settings for exterminating monsters. Dakyang hated such a life, so he has always been unwilling to return Hikuju's body. However, the reason why the audience dislikes him is not simply because he took over Hikuju's body, but because after Dakyang occupied the body, he is not only very keen on showing off his appearance, if he doesn't get the attention of others, he will be so angry that he cries. And he also mooches food and drinks everywhere, just like a street punk. When Hikuju wants to get his body back, he not only wiggles his buttocks to mock the other party, but he even deliberately smashed the machine for changing bodies later. In simple terms, although Dakyang has a beautiful appearance, but essentially he is still an annoying monster. And the real Hyakuju, after turning into a monster, not only has to watch others do evil with his own body, but also has suffered everything that Dakyang has experienced. And what's even more heartbreaking is that there is a scene in the subsequent plot. Hyakuju is crying and making a wish to a shooting star. At this moment, is he also praying to take back his own body? To this, I can only say that the worldview of Kikara is really too dark. Kikara, with its cute art style, is definitely a cartoon with the darkest worldview. Although in the world of Kikara, there is no need to worry about food at all, because in every place here, there is a continuous supply of food being produced. However, if you want to obtain other items, you need money, and there is only one way to obtain money. That is to accept tasks from the Armored Man like an adventurer. The Armored Man is like an NPC in a game. He will regularly release some tasks such as weeding, exterminating, pasting stickers, etc. And for some tasks, you can even obtain certificates. The higher the level of the certificate, the more difficult the task will be, and the richer the corresponding reward will be. This seemingly is a world full of joy, but in fact there are a lot of dark truths hidden in it. First of all, for creatures like Kai, there is the setting that they can turn into chimeras. Excessive pressure or other unknown reasons can all cause them to mutate. After turning into chimeras, they will forget their previous experiences and start preying on their own kind. And the extermination tasks that Ki and the others accept are to exterminate these chimeras. In simple terms, Ki and the others have actually been killing each other all the time. What's even more terrifying when you think about it carefully is that although this world can naturally produce food, there have also been situations of food shortages. However, every time a chimera eats its own kind, this situation will be alleviated. It's like one needs to sacrifice their own kind to obtain food. And in addition to chimeras, there are also some inherent dangers in this world. For example, the bugs that broke into Hachi's house, the goblin who is the 3-star store owner and almost ate Kai, etc., and various dangerous items. For example, the wishing magic wand that can turn people into monsters, the camera that can make people disappear, and so on. Kai, who seems lively and cheerful, in fact, has always been living in a world full of crises. Usagi, who appears to be a fool, in fact, is the most powerful creature in Chiikawa. Although Usagi in the anime gives people the impression of being just a rabbit that only makes strange noises, but actually beneath his seemingly crazy appearance, there lies great wisdom. Usagi in the anime is proficient in playing the guitar, shuffling cards, fishing, weeding, and can be said to be good at everything. It seems that there is nothing he can't do. Moreover, Usagi is also very good at dressing himself up. For example, in the episode about glow sticks, his outfit directly amazed everyone. In addition to that, Usagi also has powerful combat capabilities and extremely keen powers of observation. He has extremely rich extermination experience. When exterminating that child, it was Usagi who stepped in time and repelled that child, thus protecting his companions and allowing them to evacuate. When chasing after the big goose, when he didn't bring the extermination rod during the fight, it was also him who came up with the idea of using a broom as a weapon. And during the episode about the mountain hag, when he realized that something was wrong with the mountain hag, he, who is always sleepy, stayed up all night and was always on guard against the mountain hag's actions. Also, Usagi has extremely high intelligence. He can not only easily obtain a grade 3 weeding certificate, but also when he was locked up in prison, he came up with the idea of using a fork to dig a tunnel to escape. And after realizing that the mountain hag had ulterior motives, it was also him who used his weeding knowledge to stun the mountain hag with poisonous mushrooms. Although Usagi often bullies Ki, but he who loves adventures can stay on the island for his companions. When encountering delicious food, Usagi is also the first one to think of Ki and the other person. In simple terms, Usagi is not only versatile, but also a powerful and reliable good partner. Who is the most powerful in Chiikawa after all? The 5th place is Ki. Although on the surface, Koi has a weak personality and cries easily, but there is no doubt that he is a rather promising hero. For example, in the episode about the magic wand turned Hachi and Usagi into monsters, and Ki broke the magic wand to lift the crisis. When Hachi fell into a deep pit, it was also him who came up with the idea of using vines to save people. And Ki not only has extremely high intelligence, his luck is also extremely incredible. Ki's house was won by scratching a lottery ticket. The 4th place is Hyakuju. When he first appeared, he showed extremely fast speed. Relying on his extremely fast speed, he directly dared to play tricks on the monster chimera. In addition to that, he is also the only one in the anime who can slide. He has extremely strong mobility. However, Hyakuju's heart is extremely fragile. As long as others don't ignore him, he will cry and make a scene out of anger. He can even cry out of anger just because he can't open a coconut. The 3rd place is Usagi. Although he usually looks crazy, but Usagi not only has powerful combat power, he is able to challenge the chimera alone. More importantly, Usagi is also versatile. He is proficient in weeding, fishing, and playing the guitar. The 2nd place is the legendary hero. Although there is not much information about him in the anime, but in the world of Chiikawa, the total number of extermination missions completed by the 3 main characters can't even make it into the top 10. And the legendary hero is the first on the extermination list. One can imagine how powerful he is. The 1st place is the Armored Man. In the world of Chiikawa, there is a group of humanoid creatures wearing armor. Although the anime didn't reveal much about this, but if you are careful enough, you will find that in Chiikawa, whether it's issuing various tasks or the bosses doing business, even the monsters in the episode where the 3 stars were kidnapped are all humanoid creatures. They seem to have been controlling the world of Chiikawa all the time, so it is reasonable to say that they are the first. It's so astonishing. It turns out that Usagi has its own language system. Let's analyze it. What do its cries mean? First of all, there is Ura. This is Usagi's most commonly used catchphrase. Under normal circumstances, Usagi will use it to show agreement. Occasionally, he will also use it to greet his friends, which is similar to the meaning of hello in human language. Secondly, there is Ha. Usagi often uses it to show confusion. Sometimes it will also express surprise. Then there is Humph. This sound is most commonly used when Usagi exerts strength. Occasionally, it will also be used to express drowsiness. However, sometimes the pronunciation of Humph is more like In addition to that, there is also Puru Lulu. Usagi often makes this sound when he is excited, whether it's when running away or when playing in the water with Hachi or when riding a mola mola. As long as Usagi is overly excited, he will make the sound of purululu. This is also one of the important sounds for Usagi to express emotions. Finally, there is yaha. This can be said to be one of Usagi's representative languages, and it is also the fundamental reason why he has become extremely popular worldwide. It can be used to express various emotions. When excited, he will say yaha. When confused, he will say yaha. Even when he is in a daze and stretching, Usagi is likely to make the sound of yaha. Occasionally, when he is overly emotional, he will deliberately lengthen his tone and make the sound of yaha. Regarding this, I can only say Usagi is simply too cute. But do you know why only Usagi can't speak in Chiikawa? If you know, you're welcome to leave a message in the comment section.